Welcome to Sports Uncorked. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you like the podcast, feel free to like, subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple. We would love to hear your comments as well. Today's episode is jam-packed with fun content. The theme of today's show is The Fix is In. We're going to talk about everything from the MAvs winning the draft lottery, which was kind of suspicious in our opinion, but we'll talk about that. Do we think Bill Belichick will see a game on the sidelines as UNC's head coach? His buyout drops June 1st down to $1 million. So do we think that UNC leadership will use this as an opportunity to get out because of all of the media scrutiny around his relationship with Jordan Hudson? We'll see. And then we have some other fun topics on deck as well. So again, thank you so much for listening. Today, as always, I'm going to start off with a cocktail. I had the opportunity to spend a little bit of time at the Quail Hollow this week, the PGA tournament, and am having one of the most popular drinks on the golf course across the United States. It's called a transfusion. So the transfusion is made with vodka, grape juice, ginger ale, lime juice, and served with a lime. And I don't like grape juice. It reminds me of really bad communion wine. So I'm omitting that for purposes of today's drink. But you make it with 2 shots of vodka, a shot of grape juice, top it with ginger ale, squeeze 2 parts of a lime, and then garnish it with a lime. And apparently this was a popular drink for President Eisenhower. He was one that really popularized this in country clubs and golf courses across the country. But it's a very popular drink because of the sweetness, the ginger ale to help settle the stomach. It really is kind of known as a hangover drink. So those that are on the course that maybe had a little too much to drink the night before, the transfusion is really the drink of choice. So today I'm not adding the grape juice, but I do really love this Cutwater vodka mule that's in a can. I'm not sure if you all have had this. It's something that I love to take to the pool or on a boat, anywhere where you need to be able to take a cocktail with you. The Cutwater vodka mule is one of my absolute favorites. So I'm drinking that in my copper Moscow Mule mug, squeezed a couple of limes to add a little bit more flavor, and that is what I'll be drinking today. So cheers, and off we go. Oh man, I was in your neck of the woods this week.
Hey Rach, what's going on?
I know, next week we have our bottle of wine over 9.
But I'll see you soon.
I know. But we'll be sure to share some treats of that with our viewers. It'll be a shit show for sure, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Speaking of, what are you sipping on today?
No guarantees. I have gone with my tried and true.
I love the ginger ale. I've got a little ginger in my
nice
Moscow
citrusy
Mule
lime
too. So today, the theme of today's episode is The Fix is In.
Nice.
Because I feel like if you go down what's been going on in the sports world over the last week, this seems to be a continuous theme. So, I know. So, we should maybe start with the Quail Hollow.
It's a mess.
Since, I was there earlier this week. It's in your neck of the woods. The Fix is In.
Yeah.
Translates a little bit to, there was a little bit of controversy on the first day with Rory's driver being deemed not usable or out of compliance, which I guess that's a thing that they randomly test for. You think he called it in?
It was Bryson. Bryson called it in for sure. He was mad about the Masters. He was like, cough.
So
his club head looks a little heavy. Cough.
He's been using his backup driver this whole week, and he's only hit 10 out of all of the fairways. He's only hit 10 of them in the first 2 rounds. So, how frustrating to try to knock the Grand Slam champion, Masters champion, down. I don't know. I think it's weird that they just randomly test and they don't share any, and they won't share any of that information. Like the PGA is saying, we're not going to release any details about why it was non-conforming. We're not going to release any details about who else's drivers and clubs we took a look at. So it all just seems very sketchy. The fix was in that Rory was not going to be in contention to win this week. Isn't it weird?
That's so weird. Yeah. it's been a weird tournament though. Like, it has been weird. Everything's been strange. I mean, the conditions of the course have not been like up to snuff. Like, players that we thought we would see even in the top 10 going into, Thursday and Friday were not. It's been very, very odd. I know that a lot of players are not necessarily thrilled with playing at Quail Hollow. It's not a favorite for a lot of guys. But I just have seen a lot of players go down over the last couple of days over, like, I mean, I'm not a professional golfer, but I would like to say little things taking some of these guys down. Like, we saw Scotty eat it over just
still
ground
like, if I
conditions.
hit
It's just
any of
been
these
insane. It
shots
really
these
has
guys
been.
are like complaining about, I would be thrilled. But I think this is another feather in the cap of why Quail Hollow is not listed as a course that hosts a major. There's been a lot of discussion about why. Why is Quail Hollow not one? Because it does have some of the longest fairways in the U.S. And I think that they had a real opportunity here in hosting this tournament to say, like, we should be considered as a course that hosts a major, but it's been bad. The conditions have been bad. You can't help weather, but
Yeah. If for anyone who's ever been over to Quail Hollow, while it's a very beautiful course, it does feel kind of narrow in some spots. It is tucked right in a residential area. It's not exactly like the most easy to access. So, like, from a spectator perspective, not my favorite place to go to. At least at East Lake in Atlanta, you can get, I mean, it's just covered by streets. So you can get in there pretty easily. And their fairways are nice and open and wide. It's very different, and they've done a lot of work at Quail Hollow over the last couple of years just to make it, what they say, more player friendly. But I don't know, it's definitely not one of my favorite places
in comparison to some of the other like larger courses and venues is it just lacks character. So, like, in Augusta, obviously it's hard to top that, but it is like, it just doesn't have that feel
like
of
like
welcome to Charlotte, welcome to Quail Hollow.
Yeah,
these are the things that we will be known for. Like, it doesn't have any of that. Everything was it's very corporate. It's very like you could set it up and break it down really quickly. It just doesn't have that like Southern charm and character that I kind of came in expecting to have. So I think there's an opportunity there for them to kind of turn it on and make it their own. And that was also, I think, a missed opportunity.
Yeah. Well, it's like Charlotte as a city in general. Like, you used to live here, and it's very much like they don't want to claim one side of the Mason-Dixon line or the other. And it's such a hodgepodge of transplants in the city. So I think they will always struggle to find their niche, which is weird because Pinehurst is like a completely different feel if you've ever been up there. Like, and when the Wyndham Cup comes to Greensboro, like, that's going to be a completely different feel. So it's very strange how, like, Quail Hollow is so different from other courses in the state that host a lot of these tournaments, and how many players complain about it. Players don't complain about Pinehurst the way they complain about Quail Hollow. But all that to say, it made it really difficult for a lot of these players to shine. And, it's never easy to play when it's storming.
Waterlogged. Yeah.
It's never easy to play when your fairways are waterlogged. I mean, that's just kind of what it is. But, I think we saw some really cool highlights. I mean, Justin Thomas, like, you want to talk about literally being between a rock and a hard place. He was over there on 18 in what looked like an impossible shot, but he popped that shoe off and went for it. And even like Kim's history-making 252-yard hole-in-one. So there were some really great aspects of the tournament, but definitely wish that the weather conditions were better
to set the new record for the hole-in-one. Like, how incredible is that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And he's like one of the few to even do that as many times as he has in like the last decade. Like, it's a very, very short list of people that he joined. So, that's one, which is weird because he's such a good golfer. We don't talk about him enough. He won the Players Championship at 21 years old. Like, we gotta highlight
the
that.
The other thing that I noticed is how much the LIV players are struggling when they play in these PGA Tour events. they clearly made the right move by
there's no
taking the money
screaming
and
and
going
DJ
to
in the
the Live
background.
Tour. I mean, you look at somebody like a Dustin Johnson who was pretty much at the top of his game. I mean, maybe not as much in the last year or so before he jumped over to Live, but I mean, he's +7, +8, didn't make the cut. I mean, John Rahm's in contention, Bryson's in contention, but beyond that, you look at Mickelson, you look at Cam Smith, you look at, I mean, DJ, they're all like in the bottom tier, very close to the bottom tier.
So
the level
weird.
of competition just clearly isn't the same in Live,
So
right?
weird to see.
That's what I would say.
Yeah,
okay,
for sure.
So enough about the PGA. I'm sure Lou will have something for us when we bring him on. I know he's been pretty fixated on it this week since it's in town. But
I know. It's just
so
crazy.
The other
but yeah, there's
topic of
more
conversation
to come
that's
out
been
of that.
pretty hyped this week around the fixes in is the fact that the freaking Dallas Mavericks won the NBA draft lottery with a 1.8% chance of winning it. Come on.
Yeah. It's been, so I wanted to bring this up and ask you, Rach, do you think, one, I guess this is probably a two-part question. Do you think Nico genuinely just got lucky with his first round pick, or do you think he's been playing chess in the background? Because at the end of the day, this is it's going to make him look really, really great if they come in with the first pick. Cooper Flag is supposed to be the number one pick in the draft. How convenient for him after he did the biggest, he screwed up so bad earlier this season. Is this how he redeems himself? Did he call Adam Silver? I wanted to get your take. What do you think? Is he still going to be the Wicked Witch of the West, or is he really just a hero?
Lucky. I hope that this is not something that's fixed. I would love to see the NBA have the bingo balls that are rolling and then do a live draft. The live pick, why do we not why is it this envelope situation? Because that is what gives me pause with answering your question. The fact that it's an envelope that is stuffed behind the scenes and then opened up on the air, I don't know. I don't know that I trust Adam Silver. He looks creepy. He looks like a villain. I feel like he felt the need to bail Nico out because he was likely going to be assassinated if they did poorly in the lottery. I don't know. I hope that that's not the case. I hope that it really was just one of those odds that looks bad because of the optics with the Luka trade. But I just don't there's just not a lot of transparency into that, which is, I just think it's the only sport that doesn't have transparency into the lottery system or the drafting system. I hate it.
I don't trust it. I don't trust it. I don't trust it one bit. I think that he absolutely needed a win to redeem himself. I mean, Cooper is great. Hands down, great basketball player. Add him to the mix with Kyrie is not one of my favorite NBA players. I think he's got a couple screws loose, but add in the mix with Kyrie, a healthy Anthony Davis, you got your PJ Washington. He's gonna be in good company for sure. But is that, I just don't know. I don't trust it. I think that he was looking for a Hail Mary after the mess that he made in Dallas, especially because his own owners weren't even aware what he was doing. And he had to pull something literally out of his ass to
do you
himself.
think Cooper Flag is happy?
Didn't make any sense
that he's going to be going to Dallas. I mean, I think that he should be, because he's going to be embraced so warmly by a desperate crowd who needs their new superstar to embrace. There are worse organizations to go to than the
He's
MAvs.
Like the savior.
I mean, I don't. You could end up a lot of places.
Very true.
So I think the MAvs at least is a town that supports the NBA team.
Yeah.
They want a new superstar. Nico is going to have to embrace and support him, or he's going to completely lose the fan base. So I think from Flag's standpoint, it was probably a good place for him to land and go. But I do think the fix was in on this one. I hope it wasn't.
Oh, for sure.
I'd love to see more transparency.
Yeah, I agree. Oh yeah, for sure. So we'll see what happens. I think that, especially because this draft class is so small. I don't want to say it's slim pickings. There are some great guys that are out there for getting picked up, but the NBA is kind of like in desperate need of some revitalization. Like,
Oh my
I don't
gosh.
know about you, but I personally am devastated that Inside the NBA on TNT is going away, because it was like one of the greatest shows on television. Personally, I'm gonna miss seeing Ernie and Kelly, not Kelly. Oh my God, EJ, Kenny, Chuck, and Shaq every single week. Like, that was a highlight. So I think that like the NBA is starting to get a little desperate. They don't have enough guys in the draft class that's upcoming. To be quite honest, they're kind of getting overshadowed by the WNBA, because I haven't heard as much outside of like LeBron James's tantrums. I haven't heard much about this like ultimate rivalry as much as I had about like Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark and like their upcoming games going head to head. So like Adam Silver's got to do something. So I hope he's got something in his back pocket to save the organization, because it's not looking great. And you already have these franchises that seem to kind of be failing because of all of these trades, and I'm not happy here, and you've got these overpaid, like overinflated athletes that are switching between team to team. Something's got to get done. So I don't know how, but it's something. Something's got to give. And even like just last night or the night before, you've got the Celtics that got completely knocked off by the Knicks, which is huge because I love a good rivalry, and it's always between New York and Boston. New York and Boston is across every sport. It's a huge rivalry. And so that kind of like brought some new energy
There's
back
no
to the
way
finals. But
they were
I mean,
going to
we'll
let the
see.
Knicks
There's a lot that's
lose
got
at
to get
home.
done in the NBA.
Like the fix didn't have to be in. Like it did not have to be, because they won by such a large margin. But if that game came down and it was close, they were going to find a way to let the Knicks win, because it was going to be a public safety issue. if all of those fans were angry coming out of Madison Square Garden and then like downtown, there were going to be massacres. That was a riot. But Jason Tatum getting injured,
were
like,
so good last
I'm
year,
surprised
so
they won Game 6.
I just don't know.
There was no way they were gonna win Game 7.
Yeah, but he's not the only one. Jalen is good. It's just like everyone. Oh my God! First of all, Jason Tatum is not the best. He's not the best player in the NBA. Is he good? Yes, but he is not the savior for the Boston Celtics. They have got to get off his jump. He's not even like, he's captain. Okay.
It'd be like if the Denver Nuggets lost Jokic.
Oh my God.
Like, that's, yes, we have a big supporting staff, but if you lose the guy that's like your top scorer, it does kind of, you have to kind of retool things. Which, go Nuggets, Game 7.
That's
we
true.
Pull that one out tomorrow. Oh.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, I think, this is a great segue, because we talk about being like completely overrated. We can go straight into the NFL, which has been a lot of freaking madness. I swear to God, it is like, girls, if you're not watching anything sports related right now, like, now is the time to get on the bandwagon, because it is drama, drama, drama in every aspect of sports right now, and I absolutely love it, because it's like been so boring. So new seating rules are being voted on by the team owners. And what I love and hate about this is that teams are going to be seeded based on their performance, not based on whatever crap that Roger Goodell was mixing together to make people feel good about themselves. So goodbye, LA Rams. You're not going to be in the top 4 for the playoffs anymore. But unfortunately, we're still going to see the Kansas City Chiefs, because their record is so great. But this is going to mix it up quite a bit. So those bottom 2 in the top 4 seedings, plus your 3 wild cards, are going to look a lot different than they did last year. So we will see what's going to happen. I think that's going to put my Buffalo Bills up there, top 4 seed, maybe the Detroit Lions, switch it up a little bit, be like Kansas City and the Eagles and the Buffalo Bills. And
this was a precipice based on what happened to the Lions last year, right? The reseeding. Yeah. So they won that. And that's legit.
So for sure. And it was totally brought on by them. Yeah. Yeah. Very excited. Also, like, just, I don't know if you have been watching all of the schedule release videos that have been coming out, but the shade in some of these videos has been absolutely hilarious. And even like the creativity behind them is, I am like here for it. So my favorite, and I'll ask you what your favorite is, but my favorite was the Raiders, which was absolutely hilarious. I think my favorite part of the schedule release was when they had the refs in the locker room getting their flags out of the lockers to announce that they are going to be playing the Kansas City Chiefs. So it's been absolutely hilarious to see all these schedule
I
release
can be
videos. But I want to
transparent and
ask you
say
which
I
one's your
didn't know
favorite.
this
You
was
can't
a
say the
thing
Denver
until this
Broncos.
year. I mean, was this a thing? The schedule release videos? I mean, never seen it.
So I want to say within the last 3, it's become a thing. The last 3 years, the schedule release videos has been a thing. Before it was kind of just like, hey, if you're a season ticket holder, we're going to send you a t-shirt and the schedule. And they just kind of like announce it like right after the draft. But now it's like a whole, like, the Buffalo Bills did one with Allen Iverson, and it was hilarious.
I need to go back
so
and
it's
watch
been really, really cool to see all the different teams do their schedule release.
The only one that I saw was the Falcons. And I mean, it was like Mario Kart, which I'm like, oh, cool. That looks like what the TV in my house looks like all the time with my kids playing it. But I did love that they threw shade at Belichick and Jordan Hudson, like sitting on a little beach in a chair. We're not going to talk about this. So I thought that was like funny. And because we spend so much time talking about the disaster of that relationship, that one kind of stuck in my mind. But I clearly need to go back and watch some of the other teams that had clearly more superior videos.
For sure. I would highly recommend the Las Vegas Raiders, the Buffalo Bills, Jacksonville, which was a little strange. I don't know if you've been watching this like ridiculous Ashton Hall, like get ready with me at 4:00 in the morning and dip my face in Perrier and lemon peel. It's just like, I don't know. But yeah, very interesting. A lot of them have been very, very interesting for the good or for worse. But I love that you brought up Jordan Hudson, because that's another really great segue into college football, which is 98 days away, and I cannot wait. But we want to talk about the biggest distraction in college football right now. I don't think we could go this episode without talking about her.
I really hate that, because I don't want to talk about her, but she's such a train wreck, and she's dipping into our freaking sports world now, and it's really starting to piss me off. So first, actually, I've been pissed off, but I'm really getting pissed off. So what was it, last week that she decides that she needs to go back to Maine and like compete in the Miss Maine pageant at the Holiday Inn Express in Portland, Maine, and take Bill with her? Like, A, you do not need to be in pageants, girlfriend. You've got enough attention right now. But what I loved about that is that she placed third.
Right.
Like, good. The fix was not in on that one. That girl needed to be knocked off her high horse, and to not get her crown in a Holiday Inn in Portland, Maine made me so happy. But the fact that she drug Bill with her made me really mad. He does not have time for that shit.
This poor man does not want to go sit in a Holiday Inn and watch you walk across essentially a makeshift stage and compete for the Miss Maine.
What do you think her talent was?
Competition. Nobody wants to see that.
Do they still do talents?
No one wants to go to
No.
Ruining college football for America. Putting together a social media campaign for someone that doesn't know how to use Twitter or X or whatever we're calling it now. Like, that's 100% what her.
Like, that's it.
I know what it was. Her talent was to go up there and be Ursula from the OG Little Mermaid, because that's exactly what she is. Ursula. Stole somebody else's talent and then tried to use it as her own to trap and continue to make poor Bill Belichick fall in love with her. That's exactly what her talent was. And he was like, man, I'm going to marry that girl. When all of this first started coming out, when they were like, oh yeah, Jordan Hudson, she's 23 years old, I was like, this is hilarious. I know for a fact that girl's dad is like, marry that man, because I'm trying to have my son-in-law be Bill Belichick. But now it's just getting ridiculous. He's got this memoir coming out every single morning talk show that he does. They want to talk about Jordan, but he can't talk about Jordan. He's like, well, that's a personal relationship. That doesn't have anything to do with me. We're talking about your memoir, dude. That is personal. We want to know about your personal relationships. And it's so crazy how The man who has preached no distractions to the New England Patriots for over a decade is now the biggest distraction in sports. And like, he's trying to get away from it. But like, if you were just to come out and be honest and be like, yep, we went on a plane and I'm in love, period. That would be less of a
There is
distraction.
a
We don't
storyline
we
on
really don't care, but you're
ESPN
making it a bigger
every
deal than it is.
single day about him, and none of it is related to UNC football. That, my friend, is a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And when
I will
not a clue.
Honestly, I would
Not
give
a
you
clue.
$100 right now if you could tell me who the starting quarterback is at UNC.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate. How pissed are you if you're at UNC and you're like, yes, I just got, like, I am signed. I got some NIL deals coming in. I am playing for the
Bill
University
Belichick,
of
right?
North
Like,
Carolina
I came to
Tar
play
Heels,
for Bill Belichick.
which is not a small program. Just FYI.
The
Under
33rd
Bill Belichick,
NFL team.
Nobody
I mean, he's
is
been talking about
you.
that, but it's completely, we just have to laugh. But, like, it's completely been overshadowed by Jordan's not allowed in the facility. Oh, no, Jordan is allowed in the facility. Oh, let's talk about your book. I've already had to address my personal relationship with my players. Like, it's like it goes on and on and on.
It's so crazy. Like, it's so crazy. It's just so, it is so asinine at this point that we are talking about this girl as much as we are. And also, like, the influence that she has over there at UNC. Rach, I literally posted this on Instagram. I was like, oh my God, UNC officially banned Jordan Hudson from the athletic facilities. And it was not even an hour later. Not banned. She is more than welcome to come in and join us and enjoy the facilities just like anybody else who's on the front office. Are you absolutely joking me? Like, this girl must be holding people's children at gunpoint because she's just on the social media accounts, banning people left and right. You can't say anything about Bill Belichick or Jordan Hudson without worrying about getting banned as a member of the media on social media because she doesn't like what you have to say.
Belichick's buyout drops from $10 million to $1 million on June 1st, meaning that if he voluntarily leaves on June 1st,
yeah,
it's $1 million. He pays $1 million. There is talk around the program in North Carolina. And I was there this week and heard some people who were connected talking about this, that there is a lot of discussion about would that athletic department be willing to pay the, $26.7 million to get rid of him? Because it is such a distraction at this point that if they can fire him without cause, they would owe him the 26.7. Now, if they can make a point to fire him for cause, which there could be a story there, right? I mean, morals, reputation, confidentiality. I mean, I wouldn't say that he's being probably not sharing a lot of this stuff with her. I wouldn't say that his morals and reputation are upholding university standards at this point, but I don't know. But do they now, because the messiness of this backstage has now been moved front stage, and it almost feels like it's damaging the reputation of the program, do they find a way to buy him out before he even plays a game? Coaches a game, not plays. Coaches.
So I think in my heart and my loving heart for the love of college football, I would be like, yeah, get rid of them. But I think that our love for sports also makes us forget that at the end of the day, this is a freaking business. And for all we know, they are drumming up all of this distraction stuff because, and I say this, when you say the word Jordan and North Carolina, there has only been one person that has ever come to mind, and that is the great Michael Jordan. Yeah, and to be quite honest, if I was Michael Jordan right now, I'd be pissed because it's like there are people saying Jordan in Chapel Hill and they're not thinking about me, they're thinking about Ursula. So, like, we are talking about UNC football more in the last 6 months than we have ever talked about UNC football under Mac, under any other coach that's been there in the last 20 years. So maybe this is good for the program in this landscape where now everything is wholly dependent on NIL deals and putting together this NIL scholarship so that we can draft better players, because it's not all about teams going to school in Texas and Alabama and Tennessee. Like, it's very, very different now. So I think that, one, a lot of this is being egged on probably more so by UNC than we like to believe. Um, and I don't think that they will get rid of him because at the end of the day, UNC kind of needs Belichick, which is crazy because there have been I mean, Sports Illustrated even dropped an article saying that Belichick's not going to make it to week 1 because of this distraction that is Jordan Hudson. So it's going to be really interesting to see. And I think as we get closer to June 1st, we'll have a better idea of how this is going to go. But they both need each other at the end of the day. Belichick needs UNC and UNC needs Belichick. So concessions are being made behind the scenes that we're not going to be being made privy to, not anytime soon, at least. And I think they're just going to have to suck it up, which I hate. I absolutely hate to hear that because this is not for me what college football is all about. I don't care about Belichick's girlfriend. Honestly, I don't. I think the fact that she's been as crazy as she's been is drawing more attention to it. And the fact that
attention is attention, but negative attention is not good attention. I feel like what's going to happen if North Carolina has a horrible start to the season is they're going to continue to blame her.
Mm-hmm.
I think UNC has got to draw a line in the sand and tell her she cannot be active with this program until after football season. Like, she needs to step away for the good of the program, and Belichick needs to reinforce that with her because the storyline should be more about like how he's turning this around, what he's doing to make this the 33rd NFL team, who the players are that they're going to highlight, like what training camp looks like. I mean, those are the things that we should be hearing about.
But you hit the nail on the head, Rach. Belichick's got to be the one to say it. And he's not saying anything. And it feels like everyone in Chapel Hill is afraid to say anything to him. And that's why we're hearing all of these reports that are being leaked and they're coming out in the press. But like, no one has said, oh yeah, UNC is in talks with Bill about this situation. They're not saying anything to him. And he's not going to say anything. He's not going to mess up his situation right now. He's got a 23-year-old girl that wants to walk around naked in front of him. Like, it's a ridiculous give and take between the two. And like, someone is going to have to step up and do it, but no one is going to do it first because of the relationship that they currently have. I don't think that they're going to spend $26 million to get rid of Belichick because they need him. I think they will spend $26 million to catch her doing something wrong. They probably have cameras outside of every frat house down there in Chapel Hill trying to catch her doing something wrong. But she won't do it because that's something that they would be watching. They would absolutely, this would be all over the news if they saw Jordan Hudson walking out of Beta Theta Pi or something on a Thursday night. Like, it would be all over the news, but she's not. She's playing. And like, we talked about this. This girl's either an evil genius or she's an evil genius. I mean, that's what it is. She has got the best job
disingenuous about
in college football right now.
Disingenuous about it because if she really cared, she would step aside and let Bill have his time and moment in the spotlight around what he's doing to turn this into a leading, college football program. And she's not doing that. She's continuously making this about her. And that, to me, if I was Bill, I would say, like,
she doesn't care.
Fuck up. This is about me. This is not about you. You need to have my back in helping me turn the tide with like what we're trying to communicate here. And it's all about UNC.
Yeah, that would be the proper mindset for people that were in a partnership and not this like Bonnie and Clyde situation that they've got going on.
Right.
On one side or the other.
I know, right?
Like the other day, we were like, we need to be a sugar baby for some former NFL coach turned college football coach because the girl, I mean, this is a crazy game that she's playing. And I know I just like shat on her for the last 20 minutes.
She's going to be a question on a Trivial Pursuit card one day. And it's going to be like, who was the girlfriend of famed NFL Hall of Fame football coach Bill Belichick, who drove the UNC football program into the ground before it got started? Right? I mean, she will. This will be a Trivial Pursuit question.
Oh my God. I know. I hate it. I really do. And she's
Oh,
got two
good.
Alabama fans talking about ACC football more than their own freaking conference. But we don't have anything to talk about because we don't even know
Yeah.
who our quarterback is. So
Yeah.
we're just going to put that over
Oh
there
my
for next
goodness.
time.
All right. So anything else that comes to mind?
Not that I can think of right now. The news cycle keeps a churning. I'm sure something is going on even right now as we
We'll
speak.
deal with it on the course.
We will just have
this
to
week.
deal with it another day.
I know. We're going to have fun with that. We should ask the viewers
Yes,
what
absolutely.
kind of wine should we drink?
Yeah, I'm very excited about our wine over time.
Don't be mean.
Oh, I think that's up to the viewers for
Yes,
sure.
please.
We need some suggestions. Don't be mean.
Right?
We need
That's
wine. If I had my way, we would be drinking transfusions
the next day if they're mean to us.
Yeah.
Please, no Andre or Cooks.
Oh.
No Andre or Cooks. We will.
Oh, no Andre or Cooks. Yeah, no Andre, no Cooks.
Comments will be deleted.
Nothing
kindly.
from the bottom shelf at the grocery store. Please and thank you.
Yeah, we don't need viewers like that.
And if I even see mention of Boone's Farm, you're blocked.
All right, Riss. All right, Riss. Well, I will.
It's Jordan. Jordan Hudson's doing
in a couple of days in Charlotte on the course. I can't wait.
All right.
And let's see what Lou has for us today.
Yay! Yes.
Ladies, it's been too long. What you been up to? Yes, we are back. We are back.
The gang's
Welcome
back together.
Yes, I was afraid that we were like taking a summer sabbatical, but the fans would not be happy if that was the case. So
they were going to riot if you weren't back this week.
Right. It would, nasty grams would have been flying. So, and it's appropriate that we're back this week. We got the PGA Championship in Charlotte, North Carolina, at Quail Hollow Country Club. So behind me is the forecast for the weekend, and it's looking nice. It's looking, like rather summery, kind of warm, humid, not super. It's not like 95. It's like mid to upper 80s or so. And I want to hear all about your trip to Quail Hollow on Thursday, Rachel. That must have been awesome. And it was a little bit of controversy, but anyway, the forecast for the weekend is nice. However, as you may know, we're recording this on Saturday around noon, and they had a little weather delay this morning as just a kind of a rogue thunderstorm rolled out quickly. I mean, I don't know why. Maybe the players had to, didn't have enough time to warm up or whatever, because that thunderstorm was out of here by 7 or so. And they pushed that start time back from 8:15 to like 11:30 or so. But no more showers really in the picture. What will be interesting today is the winds are supposed to pick up behind this little front that went through that caused that thunderstorm this morning. So 15 to 20 mile an hour winds gusting to 30. So that'll make, yeah, on that course, that'll make it a little tougher for sure. Tomorrow, less so, like maybe 10 to 15 mile an hour winds gusting to 20. So still a little bit of a factor, but not as much as today. So I'm looking forward to, and we didn't get much rain. So a big controversy this week has been how wet the course was. So it has been dry in Charlotte for the past 2 months at least. And really, like we've been in like a moderate drought condition for the past 2 to 3 months, let's say. And then all of a sudden, starting last weekend, it started to rain. And we got, including where Quail Hollow Country Club is, got between 4 and 5 inches of rain from, let's say, Saturday to Tuesday, even maybe into Wednesday morning. So that course was pretty wet. So I'm curious, was it muddy when you were walking around there?
There were definite areas of mud. That you could tell they put a ton of pine straw down in a lot of the more high pedestrian areas. But when you were crossing some of the fairways, you could feel that definite squish that you shouldn't be feeling. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and the players were feeling it. I mean, Scotty Scheffler was not happy about not being able to lift clean in place, which I can't argue with him. If you hit it in the middle of the fairway, and because you hit it, because if you hit it in the rough, you're not going to get probably not going to get mud in your ball. But hit it in the middle of the fairway, and you get mud on the ball, and you can't do anything about it. You just got to hit it and pray. And
Yeah.
and I think one of his shots, it might have been on 17. I'm not sure. No, it couldn't have been on 17 because that's a par three. You can. One of his shots went in the water because had mud on the ball, hit it, hooked it, boom, wet. And he wasn't happy about that. Yesterday, I saw. Did you see Shane Lowry yesterday? So Shane Lowry, middle of the fairway, but his ball. Now, if your ball embeds on its own, like flies, boom, embeds, and even if an eighth of an inch of the ball is in that hole, then you can take it out. That's a rule. But what you can't do is if your ball hits, rolls, and then lands into another person's like ball mark in the fairway, then you can't lift that. You've got to play it. And he had one of those. I mean, that's just it's
What's the
kind of
chance
like
of
Yikes.
that, right?
well, yeah, it's bizarre. It does happen in that you can, hit a great shot down the middle of the fairway and you land in someone else's divot. Your ball ends up in someone else's divot, and that's unfortunate. It doesn't happen that often.
Mhm.
But to land in a ball mark that is, that size instead of a divot that's that size is really unfortunate. So he hits that shot, and it goes like sideways into a bunker. He gets bogey and is banging the divot. He's pissed. Yeah. So
Well, there was a lot. You could see, like, I know
Mhm.
Scotty made kind of a point. He was probably making a show of it, but every green that he would go on, he would spend like 2 or 3 minutes kind of fixing all of the ball marks.
yeah, well, that's the other thing
Yeah.
is ball marks and cleat marks.
Yeah.
Because when those greens are soft like that, and it's too, that it's too bad because if we hadn't got all that rain, the course was going to set up to be hard, hard, kind of firm course, and the greens would have been firm, and
Mhm.
it would have made for an even um, tougher tournament for the players because. Um, at least now they can with the green soft, they can fire at the pins and know that that ball's going to hold. Once the greens dry out, they can't. They generally can't, particularly on that course because it's so long that you're often hitting your second shot into the greens from. I mean, I was watching yesterday. They're hitting like 4 irons. Or 5 irons into greens. Now, granted, Rory is sometimes hitting a freaking pitch and wedge or lob wedge into some of these greens because he drove it 350 yards. But still, some of these most of the par fours are over 500 yards. So if you're an average player hitting it 310, you've still got 190 yards in. That might be a 7 iron, maybe a 6 iron. That's not gonna that club is not gonna hold on a hard green, but it will hold on those greens. Particularly probably this weekend. Maybe by Sunday it dries out a little bit more. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah. But it's been interesting. It's been
Oh,
interesting to
no.
see the struggle. So your man JT, Justin Thomas, struggled on Thursday.
I know he didn't make the cut either. I mean, he
Oh,
struggled
did he?
bad on Thursday, but he didn't make the cut yesterday.
Mhm.
I think he ended +3 and the cut line was +1, which
Plus one.
Rory just squeezed in at +1 yesterday.
Well,
So he,
and that's after. Did you see what he did on 18
yeah.
yesterday?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Eh, Well,
It's
he
like
he
rough to
bangs
Talk
it.
rough
about
to
to be
rough.
between a rock and a hard
He
place, I
bangs it
swear.
off of the
Yeah.
hospitality thing, which is a metal roof. Bangs it off because he hooks it left over there's a creek that runs up along the side of the 18th, which makes it a really kind of challenging hole if kind of trying to stay away from that. Obviously, he hooks the shit out of it into the roof of the hospitality tent, and it ricochets off of that. It almost makes it back into the fairway. So if that had gone maybe another 2 feet, he would have been on the fairway. But instead, it holds up on the banking above the creek, so he easily could have gone into the creek as well.
I know that's what it was, right? You
Uh,
heard the donk.
yeah,
No.
and at first the
Yeah.
announcers were like, "Oh, that's in the creek," and then no, the
Ugh.
cameraman finds it halfway up the banking, and So he's able to hit it out of there, but he still makes bogey for that, and just squeaks in. So, you know, both he um, and who was it? Who's he playing with?
Scheffler and Shoffley. They all
Shoffley.
three of them.
Well, Scheffler, you know, at least holding his game together,
Hmm.
but none of them could hit a freaking fairway if their life depended on it. So
On,
at least Scheffler was like phenomenal, hitting it out of the rough and getting, you know, making pars and some birdies. But but you know, I
yeah,
don't know how many fairways Rory hit yesterday, but I could probably count them on one hand. I think.
and their play as a team or like a grouping on
Hmm.
Thursday was horrible. I think
Yeah,
that they were like +6 as a group.
yeah,
Yesterday,
yeah.
I think they finished even, but there was one hole that all three of them got a double bogey. I think it was 9. They all double bogeyed it. What is going on? It's been really rough. Like the top 10 at the end of the day on
Rough. It's
Thursday,
been
I'm like,
rough.
I don't know any of these guys. Like I know Matt Fitzpatrick, but that was it.
I was gonna say barely recognized. Yeah, Fitzpatrick, Vegas. I was like, okay, these are up and
Yeah.
comers. I guess I've never seen them in like the top 25
Yeah,
ever, but it's been rough
Yeah,
watching
yeah.
the good guys go
It
down
should
over
make for an
simple
interesting
stuff like
weekend. We'll see.
wet
You know,
fairways.
if I was a betting man, which I am, I would say Scheffler's odds on. I mean, that Venezuelan guy, can he hold it together? Um, you know, he came back to earth a little bit yesterday, but he had what, a 64 on Thursday, which was just freaking phenomenal. Um,
Hmm.
Yeah. So either people
There's
are going real
like 6
low,
other guys
or
at
I mean,
64. It's been
did you see
crazy.
Mickelson yesterday? What he did in the bunker on 15, maybe it was. He it
Uh,
took him 3 shots, no, 4 shots to get it out of the bunker. So he hits it in the well, first of all, he hits it in the bunker from the fairway from I don't know. I think he had a pitching wedge. So he hits it in the bunker, he short sides it, and so he's trying to get fancy and just kind of land it just on the green so it'll trickle down because it's going to go past the hole. There's no way you're going to be able to hold it in front of the hole and swing, boom. And you're looking for the ball to come out because Mickelson, his short game is, you know, one of his
yeah.
strengths. Didn't come out. He takes all of about 5 seconds because he's pissed.
mhm.
Swings again, doesn't come out. Swings again, doesn't come out. I'm like, dude, I could get it. I could get it out of that bunker, I think. And finally he gets it out and makes like, I don't know. I think that was a par five, and I think he makes a 9, 8 or 9 on
How
that.
many boxes is that around the score?
Yeah,
Right.
I know that. I think the maximum they do is a double box, and then they make you count it up after that. But yeah,
That's
there was
crazy.
some crazy shit going on in that tournament. So
Mhm.
should be fun. Should be fun. Other than that, from a weather perspective, I'm still on my major league wind thing. It's, you know, it's statistically significant. Um, I think at probably between 58% and 60%, as much as 60%, that when the wind is blowing in or out at least 10 miles an hour, it's either helping teams score more runs than is predicted by the over underline, or it's hurting, you know, depending upon, again, which way the wind's blowing. So I'm gonna continue that little experiment. Um, what I got to do though, because it's tedious, you know, I got to go every day. Got to go on the National Weather Service, look at all the wind speeds and directions, put them all into my little spreadsheet, then look at what you know, which ones correlate to the direction of the field, and then place my bets. That whole process, about a half hour out of my day. I don't have time for that.
You need AI to do some of that for you.
Exactly. There
Yeah.
is there is they call it agentic systems. So agents, AI
Yeah.
agents. I could set up if I was smart enough. Um, I could set it up so it would automatically do that analysis and place the bets for me. Now, that's awesome and a little scary because if the AI, if I fucked up the
It's awesome.
AI just a little bit and it was placing like $1,000 bets on on the over when the wind's blowing in, you know, for some little goofball thing I did, then I could lose my house. But We'll see. I think I can set up some parameters. Nothing over $50. So more to come on that. More to come on that. And I'm looking at. I think I sent you
There,
guys this. There's a theory that soccer scores are higher when the temperature is higher. So something to look at. Something to look
Okay.
at. Bottom line
hmm.
is, I'm looking forward to football season.
Yeah, seriously. This
Not that far
baseball
away.
season's
Not
not
Yeah.
fun.
not that far away. But
You can do
at any
both.
rate, I got projects to get to, and I know Rachel, you got to get to more drinking. So
Yeah, it's about time for a refill.
yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna sign off. Good talking to you, ladies. Let's not make it so long between takes next time, huh?
Sounds good. All right. Well,
Okay.
everyone have a great weekend and we'll see you next week.
Absolutely.
Yay, yay.
Bye.
Bye.